Alright guys, hello and welcome everybody to my Redfall first impressions. Now, if you don't want to watch the video, let me preface the video by saying everything your favorite YouTubers are saying about Redfall is probably true. I did the first 2 hours and it would probably be more than the first 2 hours, but due to the micro stuttering, I only played about 2 hours of this game. So, upon booting up the game, you'll be prompted to put in your Bethesda Club information, assuming you remember that. And so once you do that and it accepts your information, you'll be prompted to choose a character. Now, let me just say, these characters look goofy as hell. These characters look so fucking goofy, but it doesn't matter because I'm assuming, hey, maybe the gameplay is really good. Spoiler alert, it is not. The gameplay is not good enough to back up these characters, but we're gonna dive right in that in a second. For the time being, these are the four protagonists you have access to. They all look pretty lame. If I could go back, I would have chose her, but instead I chose the black chick because I like the purple aesthetic. But let me just say, she has some of the cringiest dialogue I have ever heard in a game since Forspoken. So upon selecting your character, you'll get this goofy ass watercolor painting ass intro that it looks like your favorite YouTuber could have done. But don't worry guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you watch it for yourself. For the time being, there's 3 difficulty modes. Dusk is the normal difficulty, but they might as well just let you unlock the hard difficulty from the beginning. Anyway, here's the cutscene that
What
plays.
happened in Redfall is my fault. I think it used to be a nice town. When I first got here, I thought I could help. They said one drop of my blood could change everything. Free people from sickness, maybe from death. A world where nobody was left out. Cups overflowing, rivers of living water. I was a fool. They were monsters. They took more than a drop. They took everything. Now, something evil is swallowing up this place bit by bit. When the people here realized what was going on, it was already too late. Folks are at each other's throats, begging the monsters to spare them. Some are just hiding, scared, waiting for a rescue that ain't coming. Some tried to get away. But the monsters who started all this weren't having it. There's nowhere to go. Nobody ever believes things can get this bad. Until it happens. Then, it's too late. But there are people who can fight back. I think they can save this place. There's just one thing standing in their way. A whole town full of vampires.
So that is the intro, guys. The only problem with that introduction cinematic is the fact that it looks really lazy. And then I still don't really know what the hell is going on after watching that damn thing, so that's a problem. But after the cutscene plays, you'll wake up on a ship, or what appears to be a ship. The two vampires feasting on some random poor motherfucker before they turn their attention to you. As they approach you, I guess they hear the top vampire approaching, and they decide to save you for her. And even now, as I do not have control of my character, it's still only in a cinematic state. I still am experiencing some micro stutters.
You can't walk away from me. No one can. You all belong to us. The others want you dead. But I want you here, alive. I can use you.
So after the big baddie leaves the area, she
You
pretty much
will
leaves you to your
never
own
see the
devices. But let me
sea
just say,
again.
she looks like a fucking Fortnite skin. She looks like that one purple-haired queen bitch from Fortnite
Oh,
that's up on the
God.
screen as we speak. Anyway, as I regain control of my character, I attempt to pause the game. And one thing that I immediately notice is that my character keeps talking. So this
Better get
game
to
has
shore before
no
the sun
actual
goes down.
pause function. And I
So
hate when
many
games do
times.
that nowadays. They keep implementing games where you can't pause it. It's like, dude, you're not Dark Souls and you do not have the pedigree to implement a non-pause type system. I don't get it. Anyway, guys, one of the first things that I end up doing, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but even right now, the game is kind of micro stuttering, even though I'm stationary. But one of the first things I do is I go into the pause menu and I fiddle with the settings to see if I can smooth everything out. I start by increasing the field of view. And one thing that immediately annoys me is that in the menu tab, every time you click on something, the damn controller vibrates. And I didn't turn it off because I'm assuming, hey, maybe vibration plays a significant role later in the game. But no, like for some reason, every time you scroll over something, the controller just vibrates. It mad vibrates. And so, yeah, that's something that you're gonna have to deal with. I advise just turning vibration off completely. But I tried to fiddle with the settings to see if I can smooth out the turning because every time I turned, it was like there was input lag. It's like there's like 500 milliseconds of input latency or something, and a lot of times what it does is it causes me to overturn, right? It causes me to overturn. So if you ever see me like overturning this, that's just due to the bad controls.
What could even do that? Is that a literal water wall? Why the hell not?
So do you guys hear that dialogue? That is some of the cringiest dialogue I have heard since Forspoken. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to be a lot of it, even though I'm pretty early in the game. But when there is dialogue playing in the background, it's 100% noticeable for the simple fact that it's pretty cringy. And I see you can also unlock shortcuts just like Dark Souls. I guess that's kind of cool. Anyway, I continue to loot the area and then I proceed on my objective and we get a taste of the gunplay. Spoiler alert, the gunplay is horrible.
What happened to the sun?
Oh, no.
So the one thing that kind of annoys me about this game is how dull the color scheme
Oh,
is.
shit.
I don't know why the
These
color
guys.
scheme is
Such an
this
evil.
dull. This is being played on the Xbox Series S version of the game, so maybe if you're on the PC version, your colors pop a little bit more. But on the Xbox Series S version of the game, all the colors appear to be dull with the long fatigue of a burnt out weary light. And I just don't understand how none of these colors pop. Maybe it's a Series X thing, but I have no clue. Anyway, we're gonna proceed and get into a gunfight and see what the gunplay is like. Spoiler alert, the gunplay is not that good, and I don't see how the gunplay is this bad when so many other games have done it better. Their previous games have done it better than this, so it's crazy how bad the gunplay is. What I was assuming is, maybe it's because this is like a basic gun. You know how when you first start a game, usually the basic repeater they give you at the beginning of the game is not that great. But it's not the repeater, right? It's not the gun. It's the game. There's so much micro stuttering. It makes aiming feel weird. Like aiming is not snappy at all. Like there's like input lag when you're trying to aim. There's like a second input lag and it sucks. It sucks. So it's almost like you really have to play slow and tactically, even though this is supposed to be a vampire type game. If you don't play slow, you'll miss all your shots because of the micro stuttering of the game and how poorly the aiming is. And one thing that kind of really annoyed me is eventually I kind of got tired of all the micro stuttering in the game and the weird ass turning. And so you see right here, I'm trying to look at this thing, but my controller keeps overturning due to like the input lag. And so it's almost like if I want to turn, I just kind of have to tap the analog stick instead of like, you know, holding the analog stick in the direction I want it to go. I kind of just have to flick it. And that's pretty annoying. So as we proceed, we get into some more gunfights, and one thing that becomes immediately apparent is I can't pick up any of these guys' weapons. Even though I picked up some shotgun ammo, I could not pick up this dude's shotgun. I guess it doesn't matter too much because you get a shotgun a little later, but why the fuck do games have it to where there's weapons you can't pick up? That mechanic needs to die. Anyway, I make my way over here to the compound, micro stuttering and all, and I proceed on the mission. The game tells you that you can play your way. You know, you can either go stealthily and sneak through the area, or you can just go in guns a-blazing. And so I choose the latter because with the micro stuttering of this game, it doesn't seem to be fun. And then on top of that, the game never showed me any real stealth mechanics besides just crouching down. Besides crouching down and moving slowly, the game didn't show me any real stealth mechanics. So I just kind of go guns blazing. You see right here, I just kind of like empty out the clip on these guys and I miss every shot. And this dude doesn't even kill me because instead of killing me, he's in front of me blowing a loudspeaker. But it doesn't seem to matter because 2 bullets is all it takes to make a car explode. So keep that in mind, right? You can basically 2-tap any car in this game, or at least from what I can tell, these cars are really weak. You see right here, I have an unsuspecting motherfucker. I try to walk up behind him, but to the game's credit, he does actually hear my footsteps and turn around. So I duck down and I resort to the age-old tactic of punching him in the nuts until he dies. And so right here, right? For some reason, I shoot this guy just to see if I can do any human damage. And the car almost explodes. I shot like the ground next to that dude and the car almost explodes. So keep that in mind, guys. These cars in this game are fucking lethal. And at this point, my objective is to get up to the roof but I'm gonna check all the doors anyway, right? Because why not? Of course, you're gonna check the doors before you proceed on your main objective. And I noticed this electrical box. I'm like, let me see if I can go over here and interact with this thing just in case I have to cut on the power later. Apparently, you cannot interact with that electrical box, but it's another fucking hazard. This thing will shoot electricity out at like 10 meters at you, so keep that in mind. So the game keeps micro stuttering, but I finally make my way up to the roof, grab a flare gun, put in some work with that thing. And one thing that kind of gets on my nerve is every time you pick something up, this damn tutorial menu pops up and obscures half of your screen. And it's not that big of a deal because at least they have tutorials, but I mean, could you make them a little less intrusive? Anyway, my objective apparently is to infiltrate this building, rescue the hostages, and turn on the power because the electrical box that I used did not turn on the power. So yeah, I'm gonna still have to turn on the power. It makes no sense. This whole objective makes no sense. And then at a certain point when I was trying to complete the objective, I couldn't find where the objective area was. But I go downstairs and I get into my first fight with a vampire, and I proceed to take this dude out with the age-old tactic of ducking down and punching him in the nuts. And eventually, I do enough damage to him where he starts taking extra nutsack damage. You see, like right there, I did 40 damage to his nuts where I was previously only doing 20. But I kill this guy, right? And as I'm proceeding towards the objective area, I end up getting an upgrade, which totally distracts me from grabbing that switch right there that's right in front of me. My objective is to flick that switch, but I kind of got caught up in the moment and I didn't do that. I just kind of proceeded inside here and looted the area while testing out the new ability I just acquired without actually activating the objective. And it's not that big of a deal. That's totally on me, but it does come back to bite me in the ass like 5 minutes later when I'm walking through this place looking for the objective, like right here. I'm like, the objective says it should be right here. I'm like, why isn't the objective right here? The objective says it should be right here. I even go outside at a certain point and look around, but the objective marker is pointing me right here between this fire unit and this ambulance. And to be honest with you guys, this is absolutely totally my fault. But if the objective marker had a little arrow pointing down to let me know, hey idiot, you're on the wrong floor, that would have helped out tremendously. But once again, guys, that's my fault. That's not on the game. That's my fault for not paying attention. Anyway, now that I have the power back on, I can finally go upstairs and free these clowns. And upon rescuing these guys, you will obtain mission completion. It's pretty underwhelming.
Guess this is home now.
So, after that cutscene plays, I couldn't help but feel like it was Telltale Games levels of garbage without the charm and charisma of a Telltale game. Like, you're
I knew one of them.
prompted to walk around and talk to all of the
Assassin.
vendors at your
I'm
base.
so happy
And
to see
these
you.
guys all look like some Telltale
Oh my
Games
god, I'm so
rejects.
glad you're okay.
But upstairs is the mission briefing room where we'll be taking most of our missions. So I just head up here so I can pretty much jump into another mission because I'm bored as fuck.
1, my name is Layla Ellison. 2, Redfall is full of blood-sucking monsters. And 3, I have these weird powers. I probably should have started with that last
Otherwise,
one. There's a lot of things I'm not so sure about. This whole town was fine until like a week ago. I was doing my master's degree. Everything seemed normal, except the missing people. And the weird symbols everywhere. And how no one went out at night anymore. Okay, I should have noticed this sooner. Some of us tried to get away on the ferry, but these monsters broke the sun and sucked all the water away. Because of course they did. Now we're all trapped here. No one is coming to help us. No one is going to tell us what to do. The people holed up here need supplies. In and out, downtown, just to pick up some stuff. It'll be easy. Right?
Dude, do you hear the cringy ass dialogue in this game? The vampires came and they broke the sun. Now we're all stuck here and nobody is coming to help us. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't mind cringy ass dialogue in a game as long as the gameplay is good enough to back it up. And the gameplay here is not good enough to back it up, so get used to it.
What the hell?
Upon
Oh my
exiting
God,
the
there could be
base,
survivors.
the first thing that I try to do is I try and hop on a bicycle, but apparently you can't ride bikes in this game. And so the next thing I try to do is I try to hop in a car, but apparently you can't drive cars in this game either, at least not yet.
What
So
the hell was
I guess
that?
for the time
The
being,
Hollow Man?
if there's not a mode of transportation,
That
your
sounds
only
like
option
something out
is
of
to
a
take
horror
off on
movie.
foot. So
But
I take off exploring the
guess
city
we're
on
in one.
foot. And when I say exploring, I mean I went in one building and I found absolutely nothing there. And so I went and I found some enemies to kill. Unfortunately, it didn't necessarily go my way because look at this poppin'. Look at that tree in the background. You see that poppin'? Look at it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Look at that poppin'. That's wild. So between the micro stutters, the poppin', the generic ass gameplay, like this gameplay is the new Saints Row levels of generic. The new Saints Row had more flavor to its gameplay than this. This is just dull and repetitive, and it makes me think that these guys don't really care. They know Microsoft owns their parent company, and so they know their games don't have to be good. They just have to crank out a game. Luckily, this isn't why I play Game Pass. And one realization I came to is the IGN guy, we all saw his gameplay. His gameplay looked really poor, not because of him, but because of the shitty ass framework of the game. Anyway, guys, I finally exit the building and I find some more enemies. Find a vampire right here, and I resort to the age-old tactic of punching him in the face. And I almost punched her out too, until I died. But yeah, at this point, you respawn at your base and you're prompted to go back out into the world so that way you can, I guess, retry the mission that you just got your ass whooped at. Well, I head back into the world and I get in a gunfight, but the gunplay is just so bad that I'm so bored. The guns suck, they don't feel impactful, the gameplay sucks. It's constantly micro stuttering, So after about 2 hours, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it a day. Luckily, this is not why I have Game Pass, and I would not recommend you play this video game. I mean, give it a try if you don't believe the criticism. I didn't believe the criticism, but I found out. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. Have a beautiful day. Peace.